Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Unique Teaching Methodology. I am Ekta, your host for today's podcast. Today's topic is anger management. We all must have heard control your anger some point of time in our life. So, what is controlling the anger and what is managing the anger? Which one is right? When you control your anger, you will face lot of consequences. When you manage your anger, then everything will be good. So today we have with us Miss Reema Kohli. She is an expert for anger management. Hello, Reema.
Hello, Ekta. How are you?
Yeah, I am doing good, Reema. So Reema is
Thank
a motivational
you
speaker.
for on this platform.
Yeah, Reema is a motivational speaker, soft skill trainer, counselor, and NLP coach. She has been conducting motivational sessions in the schools, colleges, and hospitals from past 12 years. She is involved in family and marital counseling. Welcome, Rima.
Thank you so much.
So, what is controlling anger and what is managing anger? What is the difference?
See, first of all, I would like to explain that we always ask parents that question yourself whether you control or you care for the child. So there's a difference between control and care. I'll explain it to you a little. Basically, when you control the child, you want the child to listen to what you are wanting the child to do. So you are trying to, like, overpower the child and influence the child emotionally, by blackmailing the child, or in whatever ways, giving instances, examples of your past, or whatever, and in that process you are concentrating on yourself, that I want the child to do this. So there's a lot of boundary, lot of limitation that you present to the child. This is a situation where, a lot of anger can come up in the children because they are not able to express or do whatever they want to do. But as far as caring parent is concerned, it will always be worried and, inquire and enthusiastically wanting to know what the child wants to do. So the concentration is not on you but on the child, and you will try all your possible ways to give all the amenities, all the situations create that way that the child can fulfill what the child wants to do. So there you are giving, wings to your child to fly and fulfill its dreams or desires. So here, the child is feeling more, empowered, more confident, more ready to face the world smartly. In the same way, why people are experiencing anger so much is because in our households, if you have seen your past experience, we are allowed to express every kind of emotion. But anger is, an emotion like other emotions, but we are like tabooed from expressing it. You are able to, you're allowed to express sorrow, you're allowed to express fear, you're allowed to express your happiness. But whenever you tend to get angry in your childhood, people at home tend to hush you down, or, kind of scold you that no, you are not supposed to, show your anger. So as a result, what happens is this is controlling. So what happens is that when you grow up, you don't know how to manage or tackle it. That is why, like, as adults, people find it, a number of people find it difficult how to manage their anger. And another reason is, like, as an adult, there are lots of individuals who feel that there's no point expressing it. At times, there are people who are superior to you, and out of respect, or whatever situation or circumstances, you're not able to express your anger towards them. You just silently, kind of take everything that's coming your way. Here I'll share an example with you how it affects a person. Here it will affect you psychologically, it will affect your physical well-being also. So here there was a person who was working in an MNC, and the boss was like, very demanding, used to give a lot of work, and so much of work which is not possible for a human to complete in that particular time limit that he had given. But then every time he would give the work, he would always say that either complete it within the given time or then don't show up for the job. So there was always that stress and pressure on mind, and she had to kind of work extra hard to kind of please the boss, so that, like, her time was, the not the excuse for not completing her work. So she would, like, in whatever way possible, by hook or by crook, complete the task and, like, present it to the boss. But as a result, there was a lot of anger, a lot of grievance in her against the boss, which she could not express. After a few months of working like this, she realized that whenever she was going in the metro home, she would get tired very easily. And within a month, she lost about 7 to 8 kgs of weight. Initially, she thought probably, like, there's a change in her diet or something that has led to this problem. But later on, she realized that no, it was something else, something is amiss, something is not all right. So she got herself tested, and she realized that she is suffering from diabetes. Her sugar level went up to 230, 240. In fact, like, in her family, there was no diabetic history, and she had never suffered from, like, diabetes herself. But it was just the circumstances that created that situation, and she became to, showing symptoms of diabetes in her body. So she started taking medication, and she was, like, going through the treatment. And after some time, she left this job, and when she joined a new place with a new environment, a healthy environment, an understanding boss, and, like, an environment which was, like, very comfortable for her to work without stress and pressure, that is the time she realized that within a few months her sugar level went down to normal, and she was absolutely okay. So this is one incident of control that you are talking about, that how, like, controlling can affect a person, and not able to express your anger can affect you physiologically. So
Uh,
this is, like, one example which, like, I share with people, that certain amount of anger, it is important to vent out for your physiological and psychological well-being.
that means anger is not that bad the way people think. We need to manage our anger.
Yes, the very famous director, like, Helen, she's like the director of Child Development Institute in Toronto. She had said that anger is normal. It's how you manage it that matters. And actually, like, to teach the children, whether they are tweens or teenagers, how to control their disruptive behavior and how to think before they act. So there are various therapies that they undergo because of this. In India, unfortunately, I mean, there's not so much of awareness and not so many experts who can handle this field. So that is why probably, like, we people are facing more problems. But outside, like, they are quite a lot equipped for these kind of situations and circumstances.
So I have a three question in one question. I have combined three questions in one question. Um, how to manage anger when the kid is 2 to 6 years old in between? Second question, how to manage anger in teenager? Third, how to manage anger when you are an adult?
I would, like, put the question a little differently. Rather than saying that how to manage anger from, 2 to 6 years, I would, like, put them into categories of toddlers, tweens, teenagers, and adults. Toddlers, I would mean 1 to 4 years, because tackling them would be different from how you would tackle the tweens and the teenagers. Tweens are like the people who are no more babies, but they are not teenagers as yet. So they are in that, tweens and teenagers are generally that confused state when you are, like, the in between phase of childhood and adulthood. So the major problem you face during this time. So I would say that when as a toddler, the problems that a person faces is basically you are going to basically make the child be in a safe zone so that the child is not able to hurt itself. Because when the child is in a phase of anger or showing tantrums, that is the time that the child is not aware of its body, there's no control over his or her body. There was a friend of mine whose daughter, in that phase of tantrum, hit herself so badly that she required stitches because of that. So that is why it is important for the parents at that particular time to concentrate on this fact that the toddler is in a safe zone. Once the toddler is in a safe zone, because the toddler doesn't know whether it's going to show tantrum outside or inside the house. It could be on the road also that the toddler can show that tantrum. So you just have to keep the child in a safe area and just leave the child, let the child settle as far as the tantrums are concerned. Even if you're driving and the child shows tantrums, you just stop the car for a little while and let the child settle. After the child has got over the tantrum, just take the child and place her or him on the lap and just talk to the child softly, have a calm and soft voice, keep your level to the child's level, make an eye contact, and just relate to the child, just make the child feel that you are understanding what the child is going through. Also, the child, when it's throwing a tantrum, make sure that you don't show aggression, or you don't show anger. You don't try to discipline the child, because that worsens the situation. And try to add in a little bit of humor as well. If you're going to not make fun of the child here, I mean to play with the child, to do some funny or some fun things with the child, so that the child's mind is diverted. And if you can just remove that situation that has created this condition. If there's something in front that is triggering off the tantrum, just remove that thing, so that after a little while the toddler forgets, and the toddler can kind of get distracted with books or toys and get busy with that. As far as a tween and a teenager is concerned, you can basically they are a little older children, so you can relate better. But once they are angry, make sure that you press your pause button, just wait patiently for them to relax, to be able to listen to them, what grievance they have, what is the reason for their anger, and then you can give them a kind of solutions to their problems. You can probably tell them that, okay, whenever you're angry, do come and ask for help from whomever you feel can help you the best at home or in the family. And you can give them suggestions which is positive for the entire family. You can even tell them to control their anger by going into their room and doing counting till 50, or probably remembering good times, probably a nice holiday, or probably something in the past that made them happy about some situation related to that. And you can probably even give them a punching bag or a cushion to vent out their emotions if they are highly aggressive. So these are ways that even you divert their attention to hobbies. You can put on a nice movie which they enjoy. You can put on their favorite music. You can even spray their favorite fragrance in the room. So these are certain things to just calm them down and kind of relax them. And during this process, you can even suggest a few things like, okay, let's do a little bit of problem solving. Anger is not the way to really solve the problem. So, there's a Whoop technique, which is very good. It is good for teenagers. It is good for tweens, and it is good for adults as well. And it is very simple. So for tweens and teenagers, of course, we'll have to teach them. And once they learn it, probably they can do it themselves. But adults, there's no problem with them. So basically, a Whoop technique is WOOP. This is an NLP technique. In this, W stands for wish, O stands for outcome, O stands for obstacles, and P stands for planning. So here, first thing, what is your wish? Your wish is to control anger. What are the obstacles that you're facing? Now, it depends on the situation. If the tween or the teenager is facing this anger issue because there's a long gap between his or her eating meals, so hunger is one of the reasons that creates anger. So then, you can understand the obstacle. Okay, probably like it is that I am so busy with my work or in the activity that I am doing that I forget to eat my meal or my snack at the particular time that I'm supposed to have. That is the reason why I'm kind of frustrated or irritated. So you can put on an alarm on your phone. That is the solution to that. Another thing, that tweens and teenagers face anger is because they feel the parents are not giving them enough attention. They are probably loving and paying more attention and pampering the sibling more. So here the parents need to get a little conscious and remove the obstacle, and probably make sure that both the children are given equal kind of attention. So once the obstacles are removed, think about the outcomes. When you are angry, what are the outcomes of it? What are the consequences of it? The entire house is upset, everybody is in a bad mood. It tends to affect your health, and it tends to mess up your relationships also. Whatever you say in anger, probably you don't mean, but it hurts the other person and it stays with the other person for a very long time. So this is the way that you just think about it, or help your child to think about it, and accordingly plan for a solution. So this is also a way to kind of tackle the situation. So first and foremost thing in every situation, whether it's a toddler, whether it's a teenager, or whether it's an adult, the thing that we need to remember is, when the person is angry, the rest of them need to remain calm and absolutely patient for the person to settle down. Because anger is something जैसे अगर आपने एक पतीला देखा है, उसमें दूध डाला एंड दूध उबल रहा है, वो उबाला आता है एंड फिर उसके बाद थोड़ी देर बाद वो सेटल हो जाता है. The same is with anger. This is what happens, once you are angry, it's a bout of anger and you just kind of went out, and then after sometimes you just calm down and you cool down. So the best time to talk and tackle the situation is once you are calm, not the time when the other person is angry, because at that time you're saying something can aggravate the situation and trigger off more anger and aggression in the person. So it is best to wait and watch.
My next question is, will sports help to manage anger? Playing sports.
Of course, yes. When I would like to explain a little bit, what happens within you when you face anger, if I'm allowed to do so, because we have noticed, scientists have done a study, and it has been seen that anger is triggered off because the level of serotonin changes in your body, and adrenal hormone also increases majorly in your body, which increases lot of energy, and you get a kick that, okay, do something so that your energy can be consumed. That is why you must have noticed, when a person is angry, there is an exceptional level of energy that the person has. And even when you see the nervous system, there are chemicals like cortisol and other chemicals which are released. So if you say that sports is important, yes, it is very important. How will you consume your energy? Your anger is going to settle down once your energy is a little consumed. So if you see around you there's nothing, you can just walk, very very fast, do brisk walking to consume your energy. Another way is start jogging, or you can do cycling, or if you're fond of other sports, boxing and all, anything that would vent out your anger, which will settle you a little. So energy consumption is very important as far as anger is concerned. So yes, sports are very very essential for it. That I totally agree.
My next question is, what is ADHD? I heard about this test. When a parent should think to go for this test? What is the
Uh,
sign
Sorry.
What are the signs which parents will get to understand that it's time to take them to a doctor for ADHD test?
Okay. So generally, like, in childhood only, you can notice, you will see that there is an extra like amount of energy in these children. You will observe other children, and compared to that, you will feel that these children have too much of energy, like more than compared to other children. They have lack of sleep. Very little sleep is like sufficient for these children. They have the tendency to consume a lot of junk food, lot of sugar, so like, to keep up to that energy level. And when they do an activity, they are not scared, they are not scared of any consequences, which is the most dangerous part. So probably after doing the thing, they might realize and repent that, oh, I wish I hadn't done this. But once, like, they are in that phase of doing something, they don't think and do like everybody else does. So if you can catch them very young, it's very good. On your own, very good. But in case you can't, it is like when you go put the child into school, and where there's a classroom of 50 children, there is lack of concentration as well in these children. So because ADHD stands for attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So this is not a learning disorder, this is not a behavior disorder, this is not a mental disorder. This is basically a disorder where your brain is not like, accepting certain functions in your body. It's like, some kind of development impairment, that your brain is having some difficulty in executing certain functions. So that is not really very something you need to be serious about or need to worry about. The only thing is catch them at the right time. And if you don't do it, you'll get a number of complaints from the school, from the teacher, and probably, like, there will be a time when you'll be taking the child to the principal as well. And now schools are so much aware that when they come across such situations, you do not get so much of complaint, but you get the thing that, okay, just take your child to the counselor and get this test done. So over the years, people have become like, more aware and have understood various issues in children, and are very helpful as far as, like, helping the parents groom the child or bring up the child. So this is not so much of a problem now. The only thing is you need to go to a counselor, and there are very good child counselors in Delhi, like Dr. Sameer Parekh, Dr. Deepak Gupta, and they give you a questionnaire which you have to fill up accordingly. Like, your child is rated from mild, moderate to an extreme hyper case, and accordingly medicine is given. And as far as there is a change in diet also, which is suggested to you, and also the lifestyle is made more disciplined, more of exercise, because we are full of energy, they need to consume it. So they tell you various techniques and ways to handle them. So that's not really an issue now. So even if you have a child who has that, so nothing to worry. Just make sure that you take him to the right counselor and get the right kind of treatment.
Okay, my next question is, I've heard about so many therapies when someone is facing lot of anger issue. One of them is art therapy. So can you just elaborate what is art therapy and how it will help?
See, basically, like, art therapy, unfortunately, is not so common in India. It's a new concept, new therapy that has come up. But outside, it is a very well, like, conducted therapy, and it's a 2 year course. It's like a master's people do in art therapy. So it's such a, like, course which is expansive, and you need to, like, learn the nitty gritty of things. But basically, art therapy, as all of us understand, like, just expressing your anger in painting or drawing, that is not enough. Art therapy includes dance, drama, music. So each and every aspect of art and creativity to vent out your expressions. And it really helps. Out here in India, we find art experts just dealing with children, just making them draw or paint and stuff. But we have not seen people like, treating this problem or any other like stress or like fear or anything by drama, dance, or like, music. Slowly it will come in, and people will like experience the positive effect of it. But I assure you that this is a very helpful technique. As far as anger is concerned, it works as a miracle. So once we have the art therapy and art experts in India, I think things would be more sorted and more looked after.
Just now I received one question from my friend. She's saying that whenever she is angry, and I saw this in so many ladies, especially women, what they'll do when they're angry, either they go for shopping to just calm them down, or they start eating without having any control. So, is it right way to manage the anger, or to look into this issue? It's also an issue.
See, I would not, there's nothing right or wrong, but I do agree that yes, this issue is there. Even when you're upset, even if when you're under stress, lots of people, they feel that by eating, they feel more relaxed. But actually, you are not relaxing yourself. It is just like, you feel that I'm eating, so I'm feeling relaxed. So as a result, you suffer from, obesity, but that doesn't solve your problem. The problem still remains there. And yes, anger, one way of showing is like, okay, you scream, shout, you throw things, you like, use foul language. Other ways of showing anger is that you, if you're driving, you tend to drive very rashly. You tend to like, become a spendthrift. You feel that by shopping, there's a hormone again released in your body, which like, makes you feel happy, or makes you experience a sense of like, relief. So people start spending too much in this situation, or even they start consuming alcohol, or even taking drugs. So there are various ways by which like, a person tends to think that, okay, I can, control my anger this way, or I can tackle with my anger this way. But actually there are many like, simple techniques which a person can do to control anger. I'll just tell you few techniques, and what works for one person might not work for another. What works in one situation for you might not work for another situation for you. So you have to see for yourself what will work best for you at the time that you are angry, because you are in control of your body. You know how to tackle those situations. So let me like start with it. First thing is like, a breathing exercise. You take in deep breath, but make sure that it doesn't go till your chest, it goes till your stomach. This is an exercise that you can do 10 to 12 times every day, without like, the waiting for the time that you really experience anger. This really helps to like, calm you down, make you a little more patient, and like, help you control your anger spree. So make sure that every day, it's a very simple exercise. You just have to take in deep breaths and make sure that that breath goes till your tummy. Do it 10 to 12 times. Then there's another breathing exercise. It is called 4-7-8. Now you will ask me, what is this 4-7-8? It is like 4 times you inhale breath, for 7 seconds you stop your breath, and 8 times you exhale breath. Now you must be finding it very funny that what is this way of breathing? But actually there is a hidden reason to it. Basically, this helps you to divert your attention from your anger to your breathing. Second, because you are concentrating on like how many breaths you took out, how many breaths you took in, it is like, kind of making you patient, with your situation. So let me like just show it to you how you're supposed to do it. You can do this also 10 to 12 times a day. So basically you are going to inhale 4 times. So you inhale 4 times through your nose. Now you're going to hold your breath for 7 times. How will you count it? After 7 seconds, you are going to blow out or exhale your breath 8 times. So this is a technique which you can do again, like, to distract yourself and to, manage yourself a little. Another thing, like whenever you're angry, your shoulders tend to become very, like, tight and, like, seem to get jammed. So relax yourself a little by moving your shoulders. Apply, like, a certain amount of massage to your neck and your head region, and make sure that you are, like, doing meditation every day. If you haven't started meditation, so then start with 5 minutes. You can put on soft music, sit in a comfortable place. It could be on the bed, on the sofa. Just close your eyes and, like, kind of go into your inner darkness. Keep your mind absolutely free from thoughts. Start by 5 minutes, and, like, later on you can increase to half an hour. This is also very helpful to relax and to make you calm. Another thing is, make sure that you exercise for 40 minutes every day. Make sure you have 3 liters of water. Make sure that you sleep at least for 7 to 8 hours a day, because sleep deprivation also leads to anger. Make sure that you have a healthy diet and you eat properly, because hunger also tends to, like, make you angry. And make sure that you have less of expectations, because everybody is human and everybody can, like, make mistakes. So make sure that you kind of ignore certain things. And whenever you're angry, before speaking, just think whether you should, say this thing or not, how it will be taken by the other person. It might hurt the other person badly, because once you say it, you can't take your words back, but you can control yourself from saying that thing. So just make sure that happens, and do not, like, bring up past bad experiences again and again, because this also tends to aggravate the situation. Another thing, diet is a major thing, like I mentioned before, for controlling anger. In case, like, it's not a tween or a teenager who's too much into video games, because video games tends to trigger off anger. When you're playing video games, dopamine chemical is released in large quantity in your body, and to that extent that it tends to irritate the child. So in case that is not there for the rest of them, they can have dopamine rich food, which is helpful in controlling anger. This is fish, egg, leafy vegetables. You can have a magnesium rich diet, that is almonds, spinach, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. This helps to improve sleep as well. You can have omega-3 rich diet, which is like chia seeds, flax seeds, and even walnuts. You can, reduce level of sugar, which majorly helps. And you can monitor your vitamin D. Generally, Asians are low on vitamin D, which is also one of the major reasons why we have mood swings and is responsible for depression as well. So now, because of COVID time, since all of us are stuck at home, chances are the vitamin D level would go down, because we are hardly, like, sitting in the sun, or, like, going out in the sun. So you can keep a check on that as well. If you keep all these things in mind, plus there's an acupressure technique. These are 5 fingers, and each finger represents emotions. The nerve of that emotion goes to our brain, giving the signal of that emotion. So basically, this finger, the middle finger of your hand, represents anger. So whenever you're experiencing certain amount of anger, just press this finger for a minute. This is the point that makes you feel relaxed and calm. So press this for a minute. If you do this every day, pressing this for a minute, pressing this point for a minute, you will experience that you are quite, relaxed and calm. Another thing which unknowingly and by default we do it, we place our hand like this while sleeping. So basically, this is the point that relaxes and calms, and that is getting pressed by our head. and that is why we have a sound sleep and a comfortable sleep. If you haven't noticed as yet, you start noticing now. So all these things really help in controlling and anger and calming us. So again, I would say not every technique is like helpful to everybody. You have to see which technique works best for you. So you are the best judge.
Most of your techniques which just now you shared, the tips and tricks, these tips are so useful and very practical. Like anyone can do. It doesn't require you to be in certain place to apply those practices. And nothing will change within one day. I always say it's a practice. You need some time to see the changes. You can't start seeing changes from the first day. It's a process. You need to keep doing things, which just now I am so happy because one thing which I learned, that forgiving, have the attitude of forgiving. So when you have that, then I think somewhere you can manage up one part of your anger. Rest you can use other techniques, which Miss Rima Kohli told. Thank you, Rima. It is a wonderful session. I know so many of us will get benefit, and thank you so much once again.
Most welcome. On a leaving note, I would just like to say there are certain bodily symptoms which one can, look out for. Your body is your best teacher. So once, you have certain bodily symptoms, just keep track of it, and that's the time that you know that you have to control yourself. So when we are going to experience anger, the changes that take place in our body is that all of a sudden in your arms and your legs you feel that the blood level increases many folds. And like I mentioned before, your adrenal hormone increases in your body, so your heartbeat also starts increasing, and you start experiencing headache, your face turns red, and you kind of feel cramps taking place in your stomach, your jaw and your fist, they absolutely kind of clinch tight, and your teeth start pressing against each other, and I mean, these are the symptoms that you need to watch out for, and your shoulders kind of get like absolutely stiff. So if you watch out for these bodily symptoms, this is a major help and a prerequisite, kind of sign for you that you are going to experience anger. And if you watch out and control them in time by doing whatever techniques I told you, probably that stage or that situation will not come when you have an outburst or kind of scream, shout, or visibly show public that you are angry. So I mean, that is the best way to handle yourself. And I feel in every health situation, in every condition, your body speaks first and tells you how to handle it. So listen to your body, and once you can check on your symptoms and work on them, then I think there's no turning back. And forgiveness, of course, is the major thing to keep in mind. Forgiveness and forgetting the situation that makes you experience unpleasant emotions, that always remember that you are not doing it for others, you are doing it for yourself. Because when you're angry, it is affecting you psychologically and physiologically. Later on, the second step is that it is affecting the people around you. So always think that if I'm forgiving someone, if I'm forgetting whatever that person has done to me, it is for my good, it is for my benefit, it is for my health that I'm doing it.
I appreciate your time and the efforts which you have put in to just give us so many tips. These are practical tips, and definitely everyone will get benefit out of it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate.